A brand new internal poll shared with Politico shows the vast majority of voters think the Democratic Party has lost its way. Well, who thinks they're on the right track? Just 10% think the party has a good strategy for the future. I don't know who they are. Here with more, Outkick founder Clay Travis, along with Project 21 chairman Horace Cooper's with us. Good to see you both. Clay, start with you. Your reaction to all of this. This is madness. What? You can't stand for mothers that lost children. You can't stand for a 12-year-old cancer survivor. You can't stand for the wife of a slain officer or a young man that just was told he got into West Point.
It's indefensible. And let's think about what Trump said on that Tuesday night speech that I actually thought was the best speech he's given of his political career. You could have said many of those things in Bill Clinton's Democrat Party. You could have said them in 2008, Barack Obama's presidential party. Guess what? I'm going to shut down the border. 80% of Americans agree with that decision by and large. I want peace in Ukraine and I want peace in the Middle East. 80% agree with it. I want men out of women's sports. 80% agree with it. In fact, Sean, you well remember, they wouldn't even stand and clap for a woman, Peyton McNabb, who actually had a traumatic brain injury playing against a man on that field. Think about this, too. 95-year-old mom gets her son back from Russian captivity. They won't stand for that either. Donald Trump has broken the brain of the Democrat Party to such an extent, Sean, that now, guess who's sounding like a Republican? I bet he's watching us right now. Gavin Newsom suddenly comes out and says today that it's deeply unfair for men to be able to compete. Think about that.
Slow down. I know Gavin well, and I know he said it. It doesn't mean that I think he believes it, just to be very clear about that.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
I think he's beginning a transition into a new career, and that career would be as a new podcast host. He's going to have to do a lot more in terms of action to convince me that this is real. All right, Horace, let's get your take on all this.
Well, Gavin Newsom sounds like a counterfeit conservative looking for work. But let me just tell you what I witnessed Tuesday night. I agree with Clay. We saw perhaps the president give the best public address that he has ever done. On the other hand, the so-called opposition acted like a bunch of babies. You know, if a clown jumps into the barrel, throws himself in the Niagara Fall, and we watch it, we kind of laugh and we think it's amazing that anyone would try such a stupid stunt. But when a political party does it, we really wonder what is going on. I worked on Capitol Hill. We had multiple joint addresses to Congress, and never did one member of Congress act up the way that this particular member did. And it's really striking to me that 10 members of his party agreed that he deserved rebuke, because he did deserve rebuke. But it wasn't 10 members that could agree that we shouldn't have boys in the girls' locker room. This party needs to get it right. The radicals, the progressives are taking the party over the falls, and I can't imagine how devastating this is going to be in the long run.
Clay, we both have radio shows. We both have podcasts. We both have, we both work here at Fox News. You work at Outkick. Okay. There's a lot of things that we could say that would be deemed controversial. I have no problem with controversial views. I don't have a problem with people not liking Donald Trump. And if they think that's a good business model at NBC, let NBC, follow that business model. But when you attack, Nicole Wallace kind of shocked me. She did run McCain's campaign with Sarah Palin. She did work in the Bush administration. I never had any, bad experience with her personally. But I just found this downright viciously cruel and mean.
Yeah.
And gratuitously mean. And the same with Maddow. And this is now, Maddow challenges her bosses, and they're going to sit there and they're going to take her crap and pay her an obscene amount of money, and there's going to be no consequences at all whatsoever. I don't know. I don't think that's going to play well at many places, especially when they're laying off a lot of people and a lot of her own staff. I didn't notice that she offered to keep some of her staff on by maybe taking a little bit of the money, the millions of dollars she's getting paid, and keeping them on board, which might have been an option.
She makes $25 million a year, Sean. Half of her staff got fired. She said it was racist for Joy Reid to lose her job. Why doesn't she do the world a favor and step down and let a black person take her job? Why doesn't she take a pay cut and allow all of her staff to continue to work? I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. It's interesting that that's not happening. And I agree with you, Sean. Look, we can agree or disagree on a variety of different perspectives. I don't even care about people having a controversial opinion. You and I have had a few in our carear. As you said, we got a lot of shows to do. But when you find yourself, Sean, in the position of attacking a 13-year-old kid
disgusting.
who survived brain cancer, your own brain is broken. And I think the lesson here, Sean, is they've gotten so used to being reflexively anti-Trump that they have no idea how to respond when Trump, in a sophisticated manner in his second term, is making rational, common sense decisions that appeal to Republicans, Democrats, and independents. In 2015 and 2016, Sean, they learned the lesson. Whatever Trump says we hate, Trump has learned that. He's now in favor of a lot of things that 75 and 80% of Americans agree with. And all they can do is reflexively attack him, and it doesn't elevate them. It destroys them. But I just want to see Rachel Maddow come off her wallet. Give that money to all those staffers that got fired. Maybe go hire Joy Reid yourself. She won't. She's a hypocrite. And worse than that, Sean, she doesn't have any viewers anymore. Most of them are watching us right now. Hey, how y'all doing?
She sounds like one of these evil, greedy, rich people that the left like to hate so much. She could certainly spread the wealth around. You know, the rich are very generous with other people's money. They're very generous with taxpayer money. But when it comes to their own pockets, they don't seem so generous. And so maybe I'm questioning this. I would say, Horace, that if you can't stand for the people that we have been talking about and the Democrats sat down on their hands for, and then attacking a little innocent a 12-year-old young man that had an honor of his life. It should have been the night of his life. It should have been something that anyone with a heart, soul, mind, or conscience would celebrate. Then there's something really, really off with your moral compass. We'll give you the last word.
The party that we watched and are watching is in a slow, total fall and collapse. Look, I am not a Democrat. I have never been a Democrat. I will say competition is great in every arena. The oldest political party in the world are the Democrats. And the way that they're going, it looks like they're headed toward the Whigs. You can't stand up and honor parents who have lost their child. You can't, to killer immigrants, you can't acknowledge the achievement and greatness of surviving brain cancer. Whatever your advisors are telling you, you need to fire them. And if that doesn't happen, what we end up with is one political party that feels like it's fine. It's going to just handle the common sense problems and solutions, and maybe that's the answer, but we could always benefit from competition. The party that we've been witnessing is not a party capable of providing that competition.
All right, Horace, we appreciate you. Clay, we appreciate you as well. Thank you both.